This is The Spot, a BYU-Idaho radio production where we talk about what you're talking about at BYU-Idaho. Today's hosts are me, Christian Nelson,
Chandler Guadagnin,
and Brianna Leal,
with special guest Kira Martin, the owner of the Rock Gym Rexburg. The views and opinions of this podcast are not that of BYU-Idaho Radio or the university and are solely the opinions of the hosts. Alrighty. Well, Kira, thank you so much for joining us today.
I'm happy to be here. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So the first thing that comes to my mind with rock climbing is that I know there's a lot of different types. So what are some of the kinds of rock climbing that you offer at your gym?
Yeah, at the Rock Gym, we have incredible route setters, and they set routes for little children up to very difficult routes. So when you go, there's different colors of holds, and you can kind of choose like, oh, I'm going to try a 5-8. 5-8 should be pretty easy. 5-7 easier. The higher the second number, the harder the climb. So 5-11 pretty hard. 5-12 even harder. You know, but when you go, really you don't have to start with trying a specific route. Just get up the wall, see how it feels. A lot of times people will get up for the first time and they're like, man, my forearms are so sore.
Yeah.
There's a trick to that. Use your legs. You know, if
go.
we use your legs a lot, then it makes climbing a lot easier. So you kind of learn balance and different things. But the route setters are awesome. We have different routes that you can choose. So rock climbing is really great for being able to measure your progress. You can see where you start and you can see where you finish. It's a really great sport that way.
And so for our listeners, a route is like a pre-planned path, right?
Yeah.
For rock climbing.
Mm-hmm.
And the numbers you're talking about, what are those? There's like difficulty numbers,
Yeah,
right?
it's a rating system for how difficult the holds are and how difficult the route is itself. So sometimes you'll have holds that are slopers. So it is what it sounds like. You grab onto it and it's a slope. It's like your finger strength is being tested, your grip strength. But then there's also holds called jugs, which are really great because it's a nice juggy hold. You can just grab onto it and you're like climbing up a ladder a little bit. So the routes have different holds that will test your strength in different ways, which is another awesome part about rock climbing is it uses all of your body. Use your core strength, your finger strength, your grip strength, your forearms, your legs. So it's great that way.
It's a full body workout.
Yeah. But also fun because you're like accomplishing something. You're not just there to work out. You're like, hey, look what I did. And next time I'm going to try that one because that one's harder. And, you can kind of work yourself up to goals and you can do it with your friends and support each other.
Yeah, absolutely. So for somebody who's never gone rock climbing before, I'm actually someone who's never gone rock climbing before. What would you recommend to start? Is there like a certain type of rock climbing or just something I should start with?
Yeah, no. Honestly, student night at the gym is really fun. It's a discount night. It's Thursday nights from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. It's only $11 and then half off rentals. It's fun because you get to meet all these other people that are probably new at the sport. Our gym is a very beginner-friendly gym. We also have more difficult things, but we don't have a very intimidating environment. A lot of the people that come in that keep coming, they're like, I met my best friends here. This is where my community is. This is my second home. This is where I de-stress from homework. This is where I come. And so with rock climbing, you can step into the building and not have any idea what you're about to do, and we will take care of you. You can get your rental shoes, your harness, so you don't need any equipment. And then you come in, we teach you a belay lesson. So if you have a friend with you, then we will teach you how to belay them up the wall. So you'll be their anchor and the rope will run through a belay device. And we also have bouldering, and bouldering is climbing without ropes. So you get to go on the boulder and you can, climb up. And there's also routes on the boulder as well. So you can follow different colors if you would like. But really, it's fun to just go and try it. Just make it to the top and see how you feel. And then if you want a challenge, then you start moving into the routes. And but yeah, it's a really good group sport. I was there the other day, and there was like a group of friends standing at the bottom, and one girl she was climbing to the top, and she made it to the top. And I looked over, and everybody just started clapping for her. And it was such a cool environment to be a part of, and just see that it is such an uplifting place. our whole motto at the gym is we rise by lifting others. And we live by that. Like, you walk into the facility and you can feel it. You can feel, hey, this is a place where I'm loved and accepted, and I'm not going to be degraded in any way. And if I try and I fail, then that's okay. That's how we grow. So we rise by lifting others. That's our motto, and that's what we expect from everybody that walks into the facility.
That's awesome. And you're talking a lot about community. Do you know of any like Facebook groups or communities that people could join or outreach, or is just walking into the gym a good way to?
Oh, that's a good, there probably are some. I'm not aware of any that are currently cycling. There probably are some good ones I'm just not aware of. I might be the wrong person to ask that. But really, honestly, walking into the gym is a great way. Like, two of our people that helped us move from our old facility to this new facility that were kind of key employees that we had, they met each other by standing in line at the Rock Gym. That's how they met. Is like one person was in front, one person was behind, and they were just standing in line and they were chatting, and that's how they became best friends and then roommates later on, and they've now been friends for like 9 years. And they, it's cool that just by walking into the facility, there's something about just physically being there and being open to talking to people.
Yeah, because not only are you challenged to try and do better the next time around that you come to the Rock Gym, yeah. But you also make friends along the way. So I think that's just a great, like, positive environment to be in, especially if you're a beginner and are not as confident as others may be, especially for your first time. So I think that's especially effective in keeping, like, people engaged, especially to want to keep coming back.
Well, and isn't that what it's all about? Is, making friends and elevating each other together. That's what it all is. If all we were there for was to create good rock climbers, that's great, but that's really, we're a species that likes community. We like being together, and that's how we elevate and grow. So we're all about that.
That's awesome. I have a question. So I like going to the gym and doing weightlifting, and a lot of times there are like plans to reach certain fitness goals. Is there anything like that you can do with rock climbing? Because I imagine it's quite a workout. Is there like a personal training aspect to it where there's certain goals you can accomplish fitness-wise?
Yes, there totally is. We actually have quite a few people that show up at 6 a.m. every single morning to come get their workout out, like rock climbing. It is funny. It's like, because we also, in the facility, we have CrossFit as well. So we have Teton CrossFit, the Rock Gym, and the Yoga Loft. So we've got those 3 sports all together in the gym. And there are people that's what they do for their fitness. And they come in and they train their grip strength and their finger strength and their core and their balance. And we've got pull-up bars there. We have a campus board, which is like you're kind of working your finger strength and you're doing pull-ups with your fingers. And we have quite a few just weights there too. We've got dumbbells and bikes and rowers and a lot of different machines you can use. So it actually is a place that you can go and get your full physical fitness in with your rock climbing membership. And then, you can have a CrossFit membership as well. And that's a really great sport because, again, the CrossFit is also based on community. And same with yoga. They're all very complementary to each other. Yoga actually has an event coming up that is, it's a class called Yoga for Rock Climbers. And it helps, it kind of complements rock climbing. And the skills that they're working in the yoga class will, complement growing your skills in rock climbing.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine after you need to stretch out after doing that, otherwise you'll probably cramp up right?
Yeah, and with anything, if I do CrossFit and I never stretch, it's going to be a big mess. Same
right.
And if you go lift weights and don't stretch after. So it is nice because it's kind of a good reminder too, like, oh, yoga is just right upstairs. I should probably go do that. So
that's super cool. So you were talking about equipment rentals. Did you say earlier that on student night they're free?
It's half off
or
rentals.
Half off.
Yep.
Okay, that's it.
So it's a really, really good deal. We also do an FHE discount night. So Mondays it's only $9.99 to come climb.
Okay.
That you do have to pay for rentals, and that's fine. But also sometimes people will, they'll have their own shoes and harnesses, and the discount nights are that much better. So
yeah. So shoes, harnesses. I'm kind of a gear nerd. I love the gear aspect of different hobbies and stuff like that, whether it's backpacking or whatever.
Yeah.
So what type of shoes, what type of ropes, like what do you need?
I am the opposite of a gear nerd.
Yeah, no, you're good.
I know the basics. But we've got rental shoes that are the best for newer, like beginner climbers. So they're they've got a special rubber that kind of sticks to the holds a little bit better, so you're not slipping all over the place, and they're more stiff. If you tried climbing with your tennis shoes and you step on a hold that's like an inch out of the wall, your shoe's probably going to slip off of it. So the rock climbing shoes, they are more stiff, and they do have a special rubber. As you get more aggressive, you can get shoes that actually have like an arch to them, and they're very, very uncomfortable, and you jam your feet in there too. They're not made for comfort in any way, shape, or form.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
I like that.
Our rental shoes are more comfortable because they are rentals, so they do fit a little bit more like a tennis shoe with a good rubber and a little bit more stiff. But man, you can get pretty aggressive with your climbing shoes because if you're climbing up something and your holds are teeny tiny, then yeah, you'll want more aggressive shoes. Our harnesses they're indoor climbing harnesses. They're pretty simple, just the basic, but you can also get different harnesses that are made for outdoors that have all the different loops on them, so you can hang your equipment and everything on those. But yeah, no, that's great. Good question.
I was just curious. So
yep.
So my question, it's clear that you're passionate about this, that you love to rock climb. I want to know, how did you get into it in the first place?
Yeah. So it's kind of funny. We've owned the Rock Gym for almost 16 years. I got into it very, very young. We started the Rock Gym, my husband and I, while we were dating. We weren't even engaged yet. We were just dating, and he was starting. I'm like, oh, this sounds great. Like, okay, I'm here for the ride. So at that point, I wasn't a rock climber. We were, building a rock climbing gym, and I didn't know much about it. My husband had climbed in high school, but more than anything, he saw that Rexburg needed something else. He saw an opportunity. We were both coaching gymnastics at the time, and there was this big empty wall in the gymnastics center, and we're like, man, we could put a rock climbing gym in there. So we were inside of Madison Gymnastics Center for like 13 or so years before we built our new facility. And we would, as soon as we started the Rock Gym, I first fell in love with the community. Because I didn't, start as a rock climber. I started with running the business and then fell in love with the community and the people. We were open till 11 o'clock at night, but so often my husband and I, we'd end up leaving at midnight or 1 a.m. just because we were talking to people. We thought it was so amazing to be around all these people that loved rock climbing. And yes, we fell in love with it too. And I mean, he's his own story. He loved it all along, but I had to grow into it. But I do love the balance part of rock climbing, and then also the connection within yourself. You are conquering things that you didn't know you could do. And it's not a team sport necessarily where you're passing the ball to another person. It's something you are doing within yourself, and you're kind of battling your own mind, which is a very powerful thing to start to accomplish, is that mind over matter sort of thing, where you're climbing up a wall and you can talk yourself out of it or you can talk yourself into it. So it's a really powerful sport for personal growth and personal development. So yeah, that's kind of my story with it.
That's awesome. I love it.
That.
Yeah, that is super cool.
Especially the fact that it builds your confidence. Mm-hmm. So if you decide to give up, then there's always another time where you can try and conquer that same challenge that you could not face before.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So,
and it's measurable. It's really cool because it's measurable. Like, oh, I did a 5.8, 5.9, 5.10. You can work your way up and then just enjoy the process, and you can start to see changes in your body, and you can start to see changes in your mind. And it's a really, really good de-stressing activity, which I think nowadays in this, we all need de-stressing activities. We need as much of that as we can get. So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's super cool. What's your favorite memory from rock climbing? And it's okay if you take a second to think about it. But.
The one that just popped in my head was when my husband and I, we went outdoor rock climbing, and we brought a bunch of people from the gym with us. And so we were introducing new people to climbing outdoors. And it was, I think my favorite was just, I might be a little bit different than other people, but because I get my joy from kind of watching other people have good experiences and bringing that to them. So seeing their face when like, I just accomplished something that I didn't know I could do. And we were able to provide that for them. You know, we brought the gear that they normally wouldn't have had access to, and we kind of got it all set up for them. So they were able to accomplish things that they didn't know they could. And that's where a lot of my joy comes from. If we were to bring in like one of our route setters here, they would probably have a really cool story about a route that they were working on for months and they finally got, you know, like, so that's another side to it that if you spoke to like a hardcore rock climber, you would get. Me right now in my life where I'm at, I am not rock climbing as much as you would probably think owning a rock climbing gym.
You're good, yeah.
But, you know, times and seasons. And I love the sport and I love the people. And yeah, that's not going anywhere.
Yeah, that's awesome, though. I think that that's still such a cool thing, like being able to see other people achieve their goals and have that happiness with a sport or something that you also enjoy, even if maybe they're more into it than you.
Yeah,
but there's something
great.
really cool about seeing that, right? And seeing people meet their goals and enjoy it as much as you do. So that's super cool.
Yeah, and just being able
nice.
to provide that for people is really great.
Mm-hmm.
We do have a lot of really awesome events coming up. One of the, let's see if I'll just kind of go through. One thing that we have coming up pretty soon is our Top Rope Showdown. It's February 23rd from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. And it's something that's happening throughout the day that you can join in on. And these are on our website. It's therockgymrexburg.com. We also have the Shamrock Boulder Comp. That's on March 16th. That's from 8:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. You'd sign up online and you get to compete. And our competitions are so fun because you don't have to be hardcore. You know, you don't like really need to know all the things. So it's just a really fun way to challenge yourself and to grow. The Yoga Loft has some events coming up, and that's also on the website. And then at Teton CrossFit, we've got the CrossFit Open coming up. So that's a big like worldwide CrossFit event that all gyms participate in, and you can come and compete and see where you rank in the world with the CrossFit workout. So that's kind of cool. You might be like, oh, I'm 11,000th in the world at this workout, or, you know, so that's also coming up very shortly at the beginning of March. So lots of things happening. And we also have like a supplement shop within the gym. So you can purchase protein at the gym, like amino acids, collagen, different things like that. So kind of a one-stop shop for, you know, wellness and just finding your people.
Yeah, it really sounds like it. It sounds like you can get everything you need, every kind of workout and stretching out and yoga and supplement. Like you guys really do have everything you need for fitness.
You guys have everything you would need, especially for rock climbing. That's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and outdoors, when the weather clears up a little bit, we have a big garage door that we open, and we have slacklining outside as well. So you get to work on your balance and everything as well, which balance is a big part of not just your physical life, but emotional and spiritual lives. So if you can take what you're learning physically and to kind of apply that to your emotional life and spiritual life as well, I think you can learn a lot.
Yeah, that's super cool. That's a cool insight. I think oftentimes we draw insights from like that, right? From things that you kind of wouldn't, I don't know, like initially wouldn't put that together, but that happens.
Yeah, we live in a physical world, but we are spiritual beings.
Yeah.
So everything can be applied. And when you test your strength and you challenge yourself and you put yourself through struggles too, that's when you can get the most personal growth and you can get those insights, you know, but you've got to put yourself out there, and this is a good facility to do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and the same goes for if you're ever going through trials, especially when it comes to rock climbing, when it's your first time especially. But whenever you're put through trials, like trials are set in your path only to make it so that you're able to grow from them.
Mm-hmm. And that's part of like why we work out too, is we're kind of giving ourselves little trials every day to build our resilience and show ourselves like, hey, we can make it through hard things. So when you really are tested, which we all will be, then you have this strength and you have the tools necessary to make it through and elevate yourself and then elevate people along the way. We going into our motto, we rise by lifting others.
That's awesome. Well, Kira, thank you so much for being on the show with us today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you guys having me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
You've been listening to The Spot, a production of BYU-Idaho Radio. Today's hosts are me, Christian Nelson,
Chandler Guadagnin,
And Brianna Leal.
with special guest Kira Martin. The views and opinions of this podcast are not that of BYU-Idaho Radio or the university and are solely the opinions of the hosts. This episode was edited by Chandler Guadagnin. Producers were the hosts with supervision by Brandon Isle. Our theme music is Finding Happiness by DJ Quads and The Perpetual Ticking of Time by Artificial Music. To listen to more episodes of The Spot, like and follow us on social media or visit the website byui.edu/radio and click podcasts. Be sure to subscribe to the BYU-Idaho Radio podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. And also leave a review of the show and leave a comment on what we should talk about next.